Hello, Black Ice players. This is Gamer1745, and I'm going to try to get my game to crash here, and we're going to talk a little bit about, because I'm getting some questions, and I don't know if I'm going to be clear enough in text. Not that I'm going to be clear in speaking, but at least I hopefully be clear enough in showing what happens. So, okay. Here we go. This is your save games. Go to where your save games are. I keep mine here again. The user. I'm going to highlight it again. User dir.txt. It should have something like this written inside of it. That's all the file needs to be, just so that you know where your save games are. And it will keep multiple versions of, so if you have one version of Black Ice or of Hoi, because it will be Hoi 3, and like in one location like I have here, and then another one here, so this way they use different so if you have different mod mixes or something, so you can cause problems, because if you've started a vanilla game and it has the vanilla map and all that stuff, and then you load in after leaving you load in a game with a bunch of mods, it may not work right. That can be a problem too. But we're coming back here. One thing you can do to help, and you'll notice as time goes on, though, it'll fluctuate a little bit, but you can see here, it had been 47, sometimes 48, now it's moving up to 49. This is part of the problem. As time goes on, as there's more and more stuff for the game to save, saves become less stable. That is part of the problem. There's no way around this, in the sense that as time goes on, there's more of the war, when there's the Pacific War and the Atlantic War, the European War, all that stuff, that's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. More and more mods get bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, so that is one thing it is thought you can do, is to try to keep things from happening, is, you notice I have a folder over here called old saves, is move some of the saves out. I recommend putting your game in a good fast drive, like an SSD if you can, that's big. You can clear out log files, so I don't find that really helping much, but maybe it does, but I just don't notice it as much. But you can always try to clear out log files. That's again why the user dir is good, because you can clear that out. Okay, so we're going to come here, click all of these, and start. Don't worry, this will go fast. Again, I have this on an SSD. You can get an SSD for under $100. That would be big enough to put it, as long as you have another, like a SATA setup. Yeah, only $100 to play a game. Well, if you play the game enough, it's worth the money. Not that everyone can afford it. I know, trust me, I've been on a budget in my life. I know that money can be tight. But it's something that I'm addicted to this and willing to spend the money. Right, single player, come here. We're going to, no, actually, I'm going to jump back to another one. So I'm going to try to get this to crash. So I want to show you something. Okay, come. Yeah, you see, the bigger these are, the longer it takes to load them, but we're going to jump to the 22nd. While we're waiting, another fun tip is, if you're starting a save before the first of the month, the first of the month determines, for a lot of events, if an event's going to fire. So you want to start a save just before that, and then time goes on. Okay, so here we are. Now, see, I think if I hit this, we're going to crash. I just wanted to change its name. Okay, it didn't crash. I was trying to get it to crash. Now, if you can get it to save like this, it will probably save all right. So we'll just let this burn through this rapidly. I'm not going to pay attention to the game. Okay. Okay, so now there we are. So I'm going to hit save again. It should probably work just fine. Now, okay, so what I'm going to do is slow this up a bit. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to Alt-Tab in and out a few times. Okay. Come back in. Because the more you Alt-Tab, now coming out here, you do have, if you want to save, load it here, set player. I don't use this too much once you get the game started. The more you Alt-Tab in and out, the more things become unstable. I'm going to put a time go there. And I'm going to see if I can save the game. Okay, that worked. Wow, when you want it to crash, it doesn't. Oh, wow, okay. I was hoping my Alt-Tabbing around would do it. I do know that the more I Alt-Tab in and out, the more it's likely to, what we're going to do. Okay, so slow it down a bit. I'm going to keep doing this. Super fast, but if you give it a lot of stuff to do, while especially you'll catch when you auto save it, it will often crash. Yeah, come on, we got a few more hours. Let's go. Right as it's trying to save. See, I'm trying to get it to crash. Wow. I mean, how do you get this thing to crash? Right when you want it to crash, it won't. Well, it's acting way too stable. Okay, I was hoping to get a crash to be able to talk about some of the stuff there. Well, we don't really care about that. Let's just come over to this here, and we're going to look at these here for a moment. Okay, I guess I can try to explain without actually seeing one of them. I have noticed when it had been acting unstable, and I don't know why I couldn't get it to crash there right now. If once you have a crash on save, we're talking about on save, not any other time. You have a crash on save, whether an auto save or a standard sort of save. If it has 0 file size, delete it. Okay, just delete that file. You don't need it. What I have found, though, again, this may be superstition, as a just that I observed it, but not the real thing. If I save it, save works, and then without doing anything else, back in, save, and then quit like that, which that's how it happens. I've noticed sometimes this last save doesn't seem terribly stable if you don't let it go for an hour or two, if you just do the save without leaving the game. So what I often do is to save the game, play a day or two longer, save the game again, then let an hour or two go by, then quit. Then I normally can get, when you first start up playing, try to, before you do too much, get the game loaded in there, let an hour or a day go by, and then make a save. And if it saves right, and I have not had a problem with all of the submods installed. I can't remember all the time. If I've not had a problem. If I have all the submods installed, I'm playing. Once I make a first save and it works, it seems to work for as long as I want to play, so long as I have not been alt-tabbing in and out, seems to work. Or if there's an auto save and I'm trying to zoom in or zoom out or whatever, and this goes to just Black Ice, no need for submods. If I'm like not paying attention and it starts to save and I'm trying to like click on something or do something else, it's like trying to do 3 or 4 things all at once, that will crash the game. But it seems to be that if you save it routinely, so I've considered the idea of just removing autosaves so they don't accidentally do it, but trying to remember to just save it. So the times that I have for myself have save on crash problems is by watching YouTube or something while playing and want to skip past commercials, so I alt tab out, hit the button to skip past commercials, come back into the game plays just fine normally, and then I go to save it, problem, crash. But if I have not been alt tabbing in and out, it normally plays fine once I get a save. An ancient bug or an ancient event here, and I mean ancient as far back as I can remember with any of these mods, and I recently had it again with a save that takes a long time to save. The game acts like it's up there. Sometimes those long saves, and I don't know why they happen, whether it's my system specifically or the game in general, is it'll take a minute or 2 or 3 minutes to save the game. And I actually had this screen over on the other side and just watched. For a long time it sat there with 0, and then it finally did that. Sometimes those saves or a save will just become corrupted. It will show a reasonable volume size, but it will just be corrupted. And no matter what you do, no matter what you try to save after it, you'll load it, it'll play, but will always crash on save. So what looks to be a good save, whether it took a long time or it didn't, because sometimes it takes a long time, it will work, and you load it in, you immediately load it in. When you want to start again, load that in and very quickly again try to save it. And if it works, you might try it a couple, 2 or 3 times, load it and do it. If it crashes, try it again 2 or 3 times to get it to go from there. If once you get a good save, then you can go on. But if one of these appears to be corrupted, just get rid of it, go back to an earlier save. I always keep a lot of saves so I can go back whether I ever really need to, just because of testing purposes. If I want to go back to 39 or whatever, 36 or something, for some testing purposes I can, but to keep this from being overly populated with saves. So that is my best advice for, and there is a thread, if I remember, I'll link it below in the description. There is a thread on trying to keep the game from saving on the Black Ice forum. I'm sure some of this is system dependent, especially if hard drives go to sleep. That can cause a problem, or something like that. And you can set your hard drive not to ever go to sleep. But that can be a problem. There can be other things. We don't know all the mysteries. So hopefully this helps somebody. Thank you. If you have any questions, post below. And hey, if you're new here, please subscribe. And if this helped, please hit the like button. Everything helps. Thanks, everyone.